Hey, hello, everybody. It's good to see you again. All right. How's everybody doing here? As you see in the thumbnail, Sammy the Bull Gravano and Mike Franzese, the very publicized uh, video they did on Valuetainment. And they have different versions about everything. They don't agree about anything at all. But I really won't, just if you want to put in comments who you believe or not, and if they're both right or they're both wrong, and stuff like that. I mean, but it's rare. I mean, it goes in about Norby Walters and whether Mike informed and ratted on Norby Walters, but then it all gets construed about, well, he informed on Norby Walters, but then there was a technicality and it got thrown out. And then, right, I mean, it gets so convoluted. And these two are so adamant to be, for their name and what they want to be perceived at, because they're MFing each other. They're going at it tooth and nail. So no further ado, and Valuetainment is the moderator here. He doesn't say much during it because they are going off. And thank you for subscribing. And we're on our way to 500 subscribers. So let's check this out, my dear friends.
First of all, thank you guys for making the time to be on with us. I know the audience has been anticipating this for a while. Obviously, when we had that sit down together, we were together for 3 days, I think nearly 30 hours of footage, which has now come to a completion of 10 episodes, of which there's behind the scenes. There's a lot of different things that the audience will be seeing. But, I kind of want to...
They had put a video, a collaboration together, Sammy and Mike, of Mafia States of America. I guess it went on video and they made millions, of course. So they're fighting tooth and nail here, but they went to the bank also.
Ask you guys a couple open-ended questions. How are you doing right now in regards to this project being launched? How are you guys doing yourself? Maybe, Michael, if you can tell us on your end of your level of enthusiasm with this Mafia States of America project.
I'm doing great, Patrick. I just want to get it underway. A lot of people are asking about it. A lot of different comments, and
this was a year ago.
Get it out there.
1 year ago.
I'm very enthused to see it happen.
Sammy, how about yourself?
I guess yes. I'm waiting for it to come out. I've been waiting a while.
They're just
a little awkward time right now.
They're just heating up. They're going to go at it.
Well, I remember when we had you on the podcast, you made it very clear when I said it may come out this year, it may come out next year. You had a very strategic way of making sure it came out this year, which is coming out in 2021 instead of next year. And we're pretty excited about launching it. But Michael, Sammy, for yourself, the market, it seems so many people are anticipating this conversation.
People love it.
Specifically, since we had so many different discussions from the life on your end, where are you at right now yourselves, knowing at this phase of the season when this is being launched? Meaning, has there been any conversation?
All right, forgive me, but what's happening, what you're going to be seeing in this video is, Sammy the Bull Gravano, very publicized, informant, rat, and all of that stuff. We all know that. But Mike Franzese is stated he never ratted on anybody, and it all comes down to Norby Walters, and he says nothing he told the FBI put Norby Walters in prison, and he would have went to prison, I guess, based on Mike Francese's information, but the judge threw it out, and it's just technicality or something like that. So
between the two of you about this project yourself. So, Sammy, what are you thinking right now? What's on your mind?
Well, we did have conversations about it, and I thought we were on the same page as far as trying to put this back together and solving our problems. I'm not sure if this did solve our problems. Michael put out a video just not too long, and I didn't like this fucking video.
Here we go.
And I think we had some words. So, but we still did this. I don't want to interfere with the project. I don't want to destroy it or hurt it in any way.
Mm-hmm.
And
Money.
but I'm looking forward to it. I watched not all of the episodes, but some of them. Looks like they're pretty well done. And there's some issues I have with some of the things and some of the conversations that me and Michael have. I think we'll straighten it out after this or before it. I don't really care when, but
he's boiling.
So that's my opinion of it right now.
Sammy's brewing.
Got it. So, Michael, Sammy, maybe it's good for the audience to hear from your end. When you first flew in and we came to the property and we had that one meeting together in the room, it was myself, the two of you. I want to say Kurt was there. I think Richie was. A few people were involved in that meeting that we had in that room next door. What was your expectation going in? And then at the same time, what was your outcome at the end when you left? Was it what you expected it to be when you left? What was your thoughts when you went in and when you left? Michael, yourself.
Yeah, I didn't know what to expect. Sammy and I have, two different
views,
perceptions of this life, both before and after. And I knew that was going to be some controversy between us, and obviously it was. Patrick, you were there. I think we got heated at times because we do strongly disagree. But, all in all, look, we're two made guys. And at the end of the day, I think we knew how to conduct it ourselves, even though things got heated at times. It's kind of like a blast back to the past, and you kind of remember the way things are supposed to go. And I think in the end, they went that way. How we feel about each other right now, I don't know. Look, Sammy said some things that I didn't like, and maybe I said some things that he didn't like. And as a result, there's still some tension between us. But that's just the way it goes. It's how it ultimately ends up is really
ego.
Depends on the two of us.
Egos.
And we'll see what happens.
Two big egos.
Yeah, well, Michael, it's not that the way it ended. I thought it ended good. I think it went well.
Yeah, between us. They made all the money.
And just recently, you put out a video that I'm completely disturbed with. We had language back and forth with each other. I think we know. Let's not bullshit. So right now, I feel betrayed by you, by what you put out. What we did on this program was a beautiful thing. You're right. It was Cosa Nostra in full bloom again. It made me feel good about sitting with you. It maybe changed my opinion of you. And I think it went very well. And we did have some heated times, but end result, it went like Cosa Nostra is supposed to go. But what you did after that video really disturbed the shit out of me up until right now. I didn't even want to sit down on this video, to tell you the truth. But I'm in this deep. I went in this far, and I'm not the type of guy who's going to walk away and leave everybody dangling. So that's the way I feel from that video. But the Mafia States of America, that situation and what Patrick did and what you did, yes, we do have tremendous differences of opinion.
Yeah, they're from two different camps. They bash each other and they accuse each other of all sorts of things. And they both make valid points in both their defenses. They both make valid points. And then maybe you can watch this type of video and make your own decision or thoughts or realities or perceptions about this. And maybe see, you realize the FBI, I mean, these guys are fighting for their lives, fighting for their freedom. And you can maybe get a different view of these two biggest YouTube gangsters there. And Leon, is my sound all right when you hear the video? If you're still there, is anybody there? Well, let's proceed, my dear friends.
Along as Cosa Nostra, as far as destroying families and all of that stuff, it did to some people, but not to other people. And when we talk about people who cooperated, which you did as well, with Nabi Walton,
here we go.
I want to really get into that right now, but
it's on.
To sit there and say, this is horrible what these people did, and they caught a break, and all of this stuff. another program that's going to come out with John Gotti Jr. It blew me away. And then the second thing you prayed for me. That's another thing that really blew me away, because I'm not a fool. I'm a street thug. I'm just as smart as you. Maybe you underestimate my education compared to your education.
Mm-hmm.
But I know when I'm being fucking okey-doked or try to make me take it easy because of the video. It's not supposed to bother me no more. But it does. And that was like icing on the cake to me. So it made me real angry.
Okay. Let me tell you this. Let me make this very clear. I didn't betray you. I had no intent to betray you. I still don't even understand what you're so upset about. But whatever you got upset, and what I did afterwards to not make you upset for whatever reason you had, I took that little 10-second spot out of the video. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to the witness protection program, I'm sorry, Sammy. I have my thoughts on it. I've been to trial 5 times. I saw my father go to trial 4 times. I've seen guys lie and manipulate that program to stay out of.
Now we're going to get into the nitty gritty of this, because now it's about witness protection. Who's the most righteous person, about being informants and witness. So Sammy the Bull really carries, though, an extra edge. He just carries an extra edge. I mean,
I'm not accusing you or anybody else. I'm accusing the people that I witnessed, that I saw it happen. And I'll take that to my grave. A lot of guys use the program to manipulate the government. It's easy to do. They come up with bullshit stories to put somebody in jail that has a bigger name than them. And that happens all the time. And you're smart enough on the street to know that that's the truth. And that's what I said. As far as John Gotti with his Witsec Mafia, all I said was he's coming out with a show. It's called Witsec Mafia. That's it.
You didn't say that.
No. Yes, I did.
No, you didn't. Let me quote what you said.
Let me finish. Let me respond to you. The video is up there. Anybody can see it. The only part that was edited was the 10 seconds that I had about you. And all I said was Sammy was in the program. I didn't say anything else about it. So I didn't betray you, nor did I.
Let me explain. All right, I got your point. Let me explain now what you did.
You got to let me finish. I let you finish. You got to let me finish.
Finish. What are you going to do?
So again, going back to what you said, I thought things went kind of well. We had our differences. We still have our differences about it. Maybe we straightened it out. Obviously, maybe we didn't. You still have something in your mind. As far as a prayer that I sent to you, let me explain that. We were in church. My wife sat next to me. Okay, the pastor said, pray for somebody that you think needs prayer today, that needs to come to the Lord. My wife turned to me and said, let's pray for Sammy. And so we prayed for you. And
So he's talking about during church, Mike and his wife. And then the preacher says, is there anybody you want to pray for? And we'll pray for Sammy. Now, that's commendable and everything. But Sammy's anti-church. And he's just more or less like, I don't need your prayers and everything, and it's just like he really is anti-spirituality. I don't know. You guys tell me.
Thank you. That had nothing to do with that video because, Sammy, contrary to what you believe, I don't need to soften you up for anything. That was just ridiculous what you said. It made no sense whatsoever.
All right,
if you don't,
you're going to talk for fucking 3 hours.
Yeah, 1 second. If you don't accept my faith, that's up to you. I've heard that for 20 years. And it doesn't bother me.
I don't accept nothing you say. I don't accept nothing you say. The problem is with some of the things. I'll start with what you just said. What your father said. You said to me on the thing when you cooperated against Nobby Walters that your father and Carmine Persico agreed with it.
No, I didn't say that. No, don't put words in my mouth.
See?
What I said was very, very simple and the truth. And this is a matter of record. So everybody can BS about this whole Nobby Walters things. It's a matter of record. What I said was I knew exactly what I was doing. At the end of the day, Nobby Walters wasn't going to do 1 minute in jail, and he never did. And neither did anybody else. I talked to the government.
All right. You made your point. Don't go into a tangent.
No. I have to point. You've accused me of this.
No, I'll accuse you further. Don't make the fucking point.
It's all
You made your
BS.
point. You made your point.
The
Now,
point is-
Nobby Walters, I've got a lot of information with that. And a lot of friends involved.
Sammy, put it out there.
Well, I'm going to put it out. I'm going to tell you right now, right to your fucking face. I'm going to tell you.
Go ahead.
Walters, you testified against him. He got convicted.
Norby Walters didn't do it. Listen to me. Norby
It has nothing to do with you how much time he did. The judge in the case made a mistake.
Why do you feel a need to cover for yourself, okay, by saying what I did? Why?
I'm not covering for myself.
Yes, you are.
Sammy is a little right there because Mike is kind of maybe backpedaling out to say, well, in the end, Norby Walters never did any time. The judge threw it out, some technicality or not. But that testimony or information could have, in fact, gave Norby Walters some time. Mike is trying to backpedal out of this a little bit. What do you folks think?
No, I never
Yes,
did.
you are. You want to
I
make
never
a
did.
big deal out of Norby Walters? Let's make a
It's a
big
big
deal.
deal. You cooperated against the fucking guy.
You want to make
He's
a
a
big deal
family
out of what
friend.
he did.
You say he's a family
Don't go
friend.
there,
He was
Sammy.
with your fucking
You have
father
a leg.
forever.
You don't have a leg to stand on when it comes to that.
If you
Don't
shut
do
your
that.
fucking mouth,
Norby Walters.
try to stop covering for yourself. Shut your
I'm
fucking
not
mouth.
covering.
And listen
It's
to the
public
answer.
record. There's nothing to
I got
cover.
some of
It's
that
out
public
there.
record. I got some of that.
What I said very simply, and I said it 1,000 times, and I'll say it again. Nobody went to jail because of anything I ever said to the government.
No,
Bottom
all
line,
right.
period. And if you
made
know
that,
anything,
all right, you made that point.
if you know
You made
anything
that point.
different, bring it
That's
out
the
there.
end. You
Stop
made your
threatening
point.
me.
You
Bring
made
it
your
out
point.
because it
Made your
doesn't
point.
exist.
So you want to
It
just keep
doesn't
bullshit.
exist.
Hmm.
What?
You made that point.
So
Now,
what are you talking
Norby
about?
Walters got
What are you bringing
convicted.
it up for?
What
What are you bringing it up for?
What am I bringing it up? Why would you
Yeah,
put
why?
my fucking name in with John Gotti Jr. and that hockey tape about people who cooperated?
Watch the damn thing.
I did watch the
Anything wrong
fucking
with
thing.
that?
3
didn't
times
say
I watched
anything
it.
wrong, and there was
You put
no
my name in it.
intent.
You put my name in it.
Well, you know what? If I said to you, I was man enough to say to you, if I put your name in it and it offended you, I apologize to you. You can't accept it.
Right.
There was no intent wrong on that whatsoever.
Sammy's
And
taking it the
may I
wrong way
make
or the
one
right
question?
way.
So, Michael, you've addressed your side of it. Sammy, what's your biggest challenge with that? What was it that upset you the most about what was said? I mean, he mentioned the name.
First of all, he likes to work with innuendos. The innuendo is that people who get convicted should never be released because they cooperated. That's the first fucking innuendo. Then he says, the proof is in the pudding that when they get released, they recommit. Now, I cooperated. 1. 2, I did recommit. So when you put me with those group of guys, even though he only talked about me for a second or 2 or 10 seconds and saying, Sammy, he put me in that group. So the innuendo, I got 30, 40, 50 people who were friends of mine who called me or texted me or sent messages. Why are you letting this fucking bum talk about you like that?
Wow.
When he
What do you
cooperated.
mean, why are you letting? What are you gonna do?
Uh
What do you
oh.
mean? Why are you letting?
Because I don't talk the facts about you. That's why.
Sammy,
If you want to talk about facts, we could let out the facts. I mean,
What
if we were
facts?
sitting in person, I would show you why you can't.
Ooh.
But if you want to let me
stop.
stop
Don't
my
tell me
fucking
we're sitting
ass.
in
Don't
person.
tell me stop.
No, I'll tell you stop.
Wow.
Stop. Okay, we don't need to go there. We're not
You
back
go
in
wherever
the
you
day.
want. It doesn't
We're not
matter to
lunch
me.
time.
Are they gonna fist
It
fight?
doesn't matter to me where we go. I don't care where we go.
Fist fight.
Wherever you want to go, we go.
Sammy,
Wow.
If you want to put out things like that and make an innuendo that
There
I'm
was
one of
no
those fucking
innuendo.
guys who
There was
never
no,
got out.
I'm telling you to your face, there was no innuendo. You took it that way.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in your brain or what's in your head.
True.
There
Why
was
is it
no
bothering you that I'm
intent on
talking
my
about
part
Norby
whatsoever.
Walters and that you testified? Why does that bother you?
It doesn't bother me. I've said it
Well,
a
then let's
thousand
talk about it.
times.
I'll tell you
Just
about
tell
it.
the
I can
truth.
tell you about the case.
Just tell the truth. That's
Oh,
all.
you don't know the fucking truth.
I know the truth, Sammy.
No,
I
no,
say
you
it all
know
the
truth.
time.
You don't have a fucking clue what it is to tell the truth.
Stop
Whether
the
it's
baloney,
Christianity or
Sammy.
what it is.
Sammy, you're talking to me. Stop the baloney, okay? You
Stop.
don't want to go there either.
Stop the baloney, huh? That is I don't know. It's going to get really, really, really heated up here. And what do you guys believe? If you know the backstory on it, that's fine. I don't know.
You're talking to me. Stop the baloney, okay? You don't want to go there either. When we talk about the truth, don't think that you're the guardian of the truth here, okay?
One thing I do, I don't buckle from the truth. I tell the truth, whatever it is. I don't.
And so do I, Sammy. So do I. I got nothing to hide.
Wow.
Not a
Then what are you bothered about it with Nobby Walters? Why are you bothered? You told the people on the program.
Sammy.
I watched it, and I watched that episode where you said,
"Watch it again."
I will. I did.
Whatever I said there,
I think Mike just doesn't like the fact that Sammy is actually saying you're not maybe better than me because you were ready and you did talk to the government about Norby Walters, and even though there was a technicality, but you're no better. You know, Sammy admits he's a rat, but he's like, tell Mike, you're no different than me. And
saying right now. Okay? I have nothing to hide with the government. I have zero to hide.
Right after Nobby
you want to know something? You want to stand on Nobby Walters to make yourself feel better.
No, I don't. No, I don't. I don't give a fuck about Nobby Walters. I don't even know him.
So what are you bringing it up for?
Because you testified. You said I never testified. I never put anybody away. That's all bullshit.
No,
by the way, he got convicted.
It's not bull. It's the truth, Sammy. Don't try to inject your own truth. It's the absolute truth.
He got convicted.
Say it again. I've said it 1,000 times, and you bring proof different. Stop talking.
I will.
Nobody
video for
listen to me.
He did get convicted.
Nobody ever went to jail.
He didn't go to jail, but he got convicted.
Told the government. Can you say the same, Sammy? No. So don't give me your
I don't try to say the same.
So
I don't try to cover. I don't try to lie.
He would have went to jail, but Mike says I never put nobody in jail. But I kind of, you know, he might have went to jail. He was convicted, but then there's technicalities and everything else. So, what do you guys think?
I just told you something. No, I'll challenge you. You tell me who I put in prison. Nobody.
I just told you.
Nobody.
You have no fucking ammunition to put anybody in prison anyway. You never broke a fucking egg. They didn't give a fuck about you.
Here you go again, trying to tell everybody you know everything. You don't know a damn thing about me, my life, or my family. Stop the baloney.
I never did. I was on the fucking street. Who the fuck knew who you are? You were nothing to me.
Really?
The father had...
Sammy was a street gangster, no doubt. Mike wasn't really in the streets. But these are two different flavors of gangsters, and now they're going to go off on each other about what's a real gangster, the street gangster or another type of gangster, which Mike Franzese might be.
Your
father had a fucking name. You didn't have no name.
Either.
You lived off your father's reputation.
And what did you live off of?
Myself. I didn't have a father in the life. I had nobody in the life. I lived off of myself.
Stop the baloney, huh? Who the hell knew you either?
Then stop the baloney. Who the fuck in the mob says stop the baloney? What kind of statement is that?
Stop the baloney.
Now you want to act like a clown? What do you mean? Stop the baloney.
I'm going to act like a clown. Stop the fucking baloney. No, I heard it from people who graduated from Harvard. Stop the baloney. I never heard that on the street. No.
I graduated from
Sammy,
Harvard.
Michael.
Yeah, where the fuck you graduated? I don't know.
Let me tell you something. Who had more damn respect on the street than my father? And you got the nerve?
Stop using your father.
I don't use my father. I made my own name. You stop using Gotti. I made my own name. Who the hell knew you until this whole thing happened with Gotti?
My friend. Gotti came to me for fucking help. He was finished. He came to me and
Sammy, you can BS everybody on YouTube. You're not BS.
No.
You're not
There's
BS.
We're me. There's fucking government. There's state. There's people in the street who know it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's a good story, Sammy. It's a good story.
It's all made up
on YouTube.
It's all made up.
It's a story for everybody on YouTube, Sammy.
No, see, here's your innuendos. When you talk, you say, everybody who's in the street has to make their moan.
No innuendo, Sammy. I'm answering you straight out. Okay?
You ain't answering me straight out about what?
About whatever you want. Anything you want.
You just said I got nothing to do with the fucking thing with John Gotti. Who the fuck needed John Gotti? John Gotti actually destroyed my fucking life and a lot of other people's lives. I needed him like I needed a fucking 38 in the head.
Yeah, John Gotti's a good scapegoat for everybody. I know. Because
No, he's not a scapegoat. It's what he did.
Please.
What he did.
You can't get away from what you did in history. You can't get away. Just like you can't get away. You got your father's name, period.
Yeah? Let me tell you something, Sammy. What I did on the street, I did. You can keep using that BS.
What did you do? Say it. Say what the fuck you did. What'd you do?
Huh? What did you do?
I did a lot. It's all over
Like
the
what?
fucking
What did you
street.
do?
I don't know.
What did you do, Sammy?
I'm involved in 19
What did you do?
3 fucking mafia
Oh,
wars.
that's your badge of honor. Your badge of honor. You killed 19. You put a gun in the fucking back of 19 guys. That's your badge of honor.
I didn't shoot 19 guys. I'm involved in 19 murders.
Good for you, Sammy.
Yeah. I'm involved in 3 mafia wars. What did I do? I ran the construction business with unions. What'd you do with the fucking phony bullshit with the gas and taking down performers? What's your father's name?
Phony?
You're phony.
Here, Sammy.
You fucking thing. You didn't try to take down Michael Jackson. It didn't work.
Oh, Sammy, you know what? Stop you now. You're talking like a clown right now.
I just got one.
Is this the ammunition you got?
I got one question, Sammy.
This it?
Sammy, if the audience is watching, our outcome was the way, our outcome was to, a lot of people ask me and they say, so Pat, what do you think this has led to with all these conversations? I said, number one, if you look at the lifestyle and what's happened, both Michael and Sammy, they're no longer part of the life. Both of them run businesses. Michael runs successful businesses. Sammy's doing very well for himself as well, which means this was a way out. This worked out, creating content, telling stories, et cetera, and you've gone to a different life. Now you're grandparents, parents. It's a different phase. You're no longer 20s, 30s when you're in the hunt, want to go there. That's a complete different life you're living right now. And there is a sincere feel of you wanting to make a transition into the next life. But Sammy, the question I have is, some of the audience that's listening to this right now, they see the frustration between the two of you. They still don't know what was. So Michael made a comment about your name being there. He says, Sammy drops your name, 11 seconds, he cuts it. What part of that reference upset you, though? What was that? Because I don't think fully the audience knows what frustrated you with that comment. If you don't mind elaborating that, if you're comfortable with that.
When you make fucking statements about people, about their cooperation,
he don't like it,
and why they shouldn't get out of prison, and you make statements that the proof is in the pudding. When they get out, they lie to the government, they turn around, and they recommit crimes. And he mentions a couple of people, including...
He still must just this guilt complex that he just doesn't really like after all these years of being called a rat.
My name in that group. My name didn't have to be in that group.
You're still a rat.
If that was his feelings, he could have just said that. He didn't have to put my fucking name in the thing.
It didn't matter.
That's number one. Number two, when he cooperated and did certain things, it was all right for him to cooperate against Nobby Walters, whether he went to prison or not. He got convicted under Michael's testimony.
True.
He got a $395,000 fine. He got sentenced to prison.
True.
And the case was overturned because the judge made a mistake on the case.
True.
Something that affected the law end of it, not Michael or his testimony or nothing. And the case was reversed.
True.
He comes out of fucking prison. There's interviews. People wanted to talk to him. He don't even want to talk about Michael Franzese or his father. He hates them. So, and this guy here was a family friend of theirs. Family friend, they shook him down for money and then ratted on him. And that's supposed to be okay. So you could do that, but somebody else who has a problem in them, if they were betrayed or whatever the story is, you're going to be the high priestess who tells them you're no good. You shouldn't get out. When he was able to get out, he had a 10-year sentence. A 10-year sentence that was reduced to 3 years and 4 months for his fucking testimony. You were there when we talked about his $15 million fine. He never paid it. He says, well, I paid dribs and drabs, but I never paid it all. You can't walk away from the fucking government and say, I'm not paying it.
So what Sammy's saying is that when Mike gave his testimony that could have convicted Norby Walters, but there was a technicality, of course, and everything. But it lowered his. He got 3 years, but there was a big fine. Now Sammy's like, well, how'd that fine go away? Was Mike still ongoing, being in bed with the FBI, giving information on other people? Because in Sammy's defense, those fines don't go away. You got to keep giving the government something.
That don't work. That was probably done because he cooperated. Whatever his fine was, they probably niched it. Whatever they did, I can't prove that. I can't say that. But those things don't just disappear. They're there. So without cooperation, you ain't getting these things from the government. There's millions of people who went to prison. You can't get squat from the government when you're convicted. Nothing. Whether it's a fine, whether it's the time,
true
reductions, you got to do something to get reductions.
Yeah.
And there's tapes, there's agents saying, yeah, the argument, the New York prosecutors were arguing with the Chicago prosecutors. They wanted him to cooperate against Persico. He wouldn't do it, or whatever that is. I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to do it. And he did. But the Chicago people won out. They used him there, and he got his favors. He cooperated. Now, he didn't have murders. He never murdered anybody in his life, from what I understand. But he'll say, I don't have cover for that. So I can't talk about it. It's another innuendo.
He didn't murder anybody anyway.
His people think, well, he did what he had to do to get in a life, and he don't want to talk about it. Why don't you just be truthful and say, I never killed anybody?
So it don't matter if you have immunity.
Probably a lot of them who are Christians would say, that's good. He never killed anybody. But he can't seem to tell the truth when it comes to these things. I don't know why. I really don't.
It's a lot to unpack.
So that's why he had a lot of guys on the street who he says they're nobodies, and he knows who they are. I don't want to mention their names because I don't want to start a fucking revolution here. But they just badmouth him all the time. Until I got into the picture. How could you do anything, he tells me. I got into the picture, I shut them all up. Michael ain't a bad guy. Leave him alone. He lied. So he lied. It's none of your business. Leave it alone. John Gotti Jr. is not my fucking friend. He's going to do this thing, Wet Sec Mafia, and he's going to badmouth people. Now, I'm going to give you and your whole audience and Michael, guess who the fuck he's going to hurt the most or come after the most? It'll probably be me.
Of course.
And he's congratulating him on his project.
Sammy takes offense because John Gotti's kid is doing some project and everything. And, of course, John Gotti Jr. is going to talk shit about Sammy the Bull. Mike said good luck with the project or something like that, and Sammy don't like it, because Sammy, of course, thinks that, Mike is in John Gotti's camp. What do you guys believe?
And there's a guy, another made guy, ratting on everybody and his mother, which is insane.
John Gotti Jr.
I don't know why you would talk good about him.
John Gotti Jr.
He met with the government. He's done a fucking gazillion fucking things that it's a complete joke. So now when he did that video, and the thing that bothered me the most was that him and his wife and kids are in church and they're praying for me.
He can't get over it.
He had a catastrophe happen a week or two before with a young boy. It's not his fault. He could pray for him. Why do you want to pray for me? I'm not sick. I'm not dead. I'm not in jail. Why would you want to pray for me?
Well,
so I took that little prayer you sent me as he's trying to soften me up from this video. He knew I would explode at that video because we're supposed to, at this point, be getting along.
They're not.
Then you put out this video. You tap him on the back. Let me get back to John Gotti Jr. Himself, he's sitting in Health Magazine, Men's Health Magazine, stating that he is a crime fighter now. He wants to put people in prison. He wants to do stories about people who should have never got out of prison. How hypocritical is this? And he wants to say, oh, he's doing a great job. This is your father who did 50 years. And he'd say he cooperated, but this is a guy who wants to put people in prison. He says it. He admits it publicly. It's in magazines. So I got to sit here and listen to this fucking bullshit. After trying my best to do the right thing with this show and have a relationship with him and put things in the past, a couple of days goes by and there's this fucking video. And I get 40, 50 fucking people calling me.
He won't get over it.
I said, I don't know why he did it. And I'm sitting here like a jackass over and over again. Well, I don't know. He ain't a bad guy. I don't know why he did it. I don't even know what the fuck to say to people. And then this emergency meeting comes up with me and Michael. I don't want to hurt the project. I don't want to hurt nothing. I didn't want to be here. You know it.
Money.
But I said, I'll be here. And then we exploded just now at each other. I don't know what it does to the project. I hope it don't hurt it. I don't know what it does. And I don't really care.
Sammy.
Can I respond to this, please?
Sure, go for it.
Yeah.
Can I respond to this? First of all, I don't know who these 40 or 50 people are, number one. Number two, again, I didn't say anything positive about Sammy says I do innuendos. He makes things up. I didn't say anything positive about John Gotti. I mentioned a public fact that John Gotti is coming out with something called the WITSEC Mafia. I told Sammy this. I never met John Gotti. I never spoke to John Gotti Jr., talking about Jr. I have no relationship with him whatsoever. I've never communicated with him other than one time with his lawyer 10, 12 years ago. That was it. That's number one. So I don't even know what he's upset about with that. I have no relationship, and I told Sammy that. And that's the God's honest.
You told him. You said he's doing a great job.
Let me finish. I didn't say he's doing a great job. Let me finish, okay? That's number one. When it comes to Norby Walters, Sammy seems to claim to know everything about everything. Norby Walters, here's the facts with Norby Walters. 3 times I saved his life. Once from Corky Vastola,
True.
Once from Carmine Persico,
True.
And once from my father because he was using our name, never paid us any
True.
money. He never got shook down. He used us for 30 years. And that's the reason he was in trouble. In the stage delicatessen, okay, I saved his life when my father came home from prison and wanted to hurt him. I can say that now because my father's gone. I think I've said it before. That's number one.
True.
So when this situation came up with Norby Walters, and I was subpoenaed, number one, first, they subpoenaed my father and they subpoenaed my younger brother. And what I told them, I said, look, I'll tell you the truth about Norby, okay, when I get put on the stand. Let my father and brother alone. They did. And when I got on the stand, you could look at the testimony. It's public record. What it said on the stand is, I don't know who Norby is shaking down. I've been in prison. I don't know. I gave him $275,000 to be involved in this deal. I got involved because I wanted to meet athletes for my gambling situation. That's exactly what I told him. Yeah, Norby got convicted. And you know what? He had 25 people testify against about the actual facts that happened in the case.
True.
So if you want to talk facts, don't just blow it off. Talk facts. Get the damn testimony. Look at the trial. Don't be like Rittenhouse.
There was 25 other people that were given testimony against Norby Walters. Mike Franzese was inconsequential anyways. They didn't need him for that.
It's like everybody had him convicted until the evidence comes out in the trial and the poor kid got persecuted for no reason. I said, talk facts. That's number one. As far as number two, what I did on the street, you have a knowledge of, Sammy. Don't claim to know everything about everybody else's business. What I did with Persico or my father or anybody else who I killed or didn't kill, you have no knowledge of. So stop trying to make people think you know everything about everything because you don't. Let me finish.
That's because Sammy said Mike Franzese earlier wasn't a real gangster. He never did nothing here or there. And then we all know Sammy's the street guy, the street tough guy and everything. But there's 5 crime families, New York City's millions of people. they didn't even know who they actually were at the time. In this period of time, they didn't really know who that was. Sammy got elevated up at the last minute, and all hell broke loose. You guys all know the story, but Sammy would have had a better idea knowing who Mike Franzese was than Mike knowing who Sammy was. Sammy just came out at the end after John Gotti got busted and everything else. What do you guys think?
I did not interrupt you. I did not interrupt you. That's more. Number two, I'm telling you this right now. You can knock my faith like you've been doing in almost every interview that you
don't keep going back
what
to
I told you,
faith and all
excuse
this
me,
bullshit.
I'm
Stop
responding
going back to your Christianity.
I'm responding to you.
We're talking about the mafia. Stop
Excuse
kissing
me.
ass.
You brought it up. You brought
Sammy says, forget about the faith, forget about Christianity. We're talking about the mafia. This guy's just cold-blooded.
it up just
You
now.
just brought
You
it up.
brought it up about the prayer. What's the matter? You can't have a response?
No, I can have a response.
You're not the
Just
damn
keep going
underboss
back to
anymore
that
that I
same
told you.
bullshit.
No, when you bring something up, you're entitled to a response.
Yeah, you said it 9 times already.
No, you said it again. You
Yeah.
said it again.
I said what
You
you
brought
said
it up.
for me for no reason. When you have somebody die in your house, there's a reason to pray for
I
him.
pray for him every day. He's already in heaven.
Well,
So
there's
you
no
don't even
reason
know
to
what you're
pray
talking
for
about.
me.
You don't
Well,
even
stop
know what
the
you're
fucking
talking
bullshit
about.
with this praying stuff.
I said to you, no, you stopped your...
A young boy had just recently, when this was being taped, had passed away in Mike Francese's house. So Sammy's saying, pray for the kid. And Mike says, we do, and he's already in heaven.
BS, take the text and put it up on the screen. If you want to be a big shot, put it up on the screen exactly what I said.
Let me ask you
I
a
said,
question.
no, man, let me
Answer the
finish.
question.
Let me
Why?
finish.
Well, no, I don't. I want to say it one thing at a time.
You always
I don't
want to
you
say
go on
something.
fucking-
You don't give anybody...
Yeah, I want to say something. How did you get that break? How did they go from 10 years to 3 fucking years in prison?
First of all,
3 years, 4 months.
excuse me, don't lie. I did 8 years on the 10. 8 years. Stop.
Now Sammy is saying, you didn't do, what about that 10 years that came out of all that stuff? What came out of that? Now, he's saying you did 8, Mike's saying he did 8 years of it or whatnot. He was in the hole and everything else. And then Sammy's saying he did 3.5 years or something like that. Now, there's a lot of controversy about that, and I don't want to give my own personal input in that to sway anybody. Just what do you guys think?
Stop with your BS 3.4. I did 8 years. It's a matter of record. Look up the VOP records. Stop with
You
your
did
baloney.
40 months.
Stop with your baloney.
You did
I
40
did
months.
8 years. 29 months and 7 days in solitary because I wouldn't cooperate. So stop the baloney. Stop trying to cover your own self by putting the blame elsewhere, Sammy. Stop. I don't do that to you, and you don't need to do that to me. What I did is a matter of public record, the same as you. And I don't care who looks it up.
Yeah,
The public record, once again, ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to try to sway your thinking or whose side you're going to take. Everybody wants to pick a side and everything. But when people start throwing around the public record, whatever's in the public record doesn't necessarily mean it's straight facts.
it's a matter of public record.
And I don't
It's a
care
matter
who
of
looks it
public
up.
record that you went and cooperated against Nobby Walsh, and
I
you want to
just
say
told-
you went there and saved him.
I didn't say that. Who
You
said that?
saved him 3 fucking times.
That's
and then you went and
exactly
testified.
What the heck do you know about that?
What were you doing when you were
3 times.
testifying?
3 times. How do you
What
know?
were you
about
doing when you were fucking testifying?
It was
You were
before
saving him?
that. Do you have any idea what you're talking about?
No, do you went and
I know
testified.
exactly what I'm talking
You
about.
went to testify in the
Exactly.
case. What did you do? Go to help him?
Did you hear what I just said? I'm
Yeah, I
not
did hear what
denying
you
it.
said.
I was subpoenaed and I told the truth.
There was 40 other people that got subpoenaed that had all kinds of stuff on Norby Walters anyways. Mike Franzese might have been a more high-profile guy for whatever testimony, but so they tried him with that, and there's no double indemnity. So when there was a technicality, it got thrown out. I don't think he could have got retried, but I think he died after that anyways.
Speedy, we were gangsters, and Speedy don't mean nothing. You don't go.
Sammy,
You tell him I refuse to answer.
Let me satisfy you.
Stand.
Oh, you don't go? Who the hell are you? What do you mean you don't go? You went.
Sammy's telling Mike. Well, Mike said, well, I got subpoenaed. Sammy's saying, no, when you get subpoenaed, you don't have to go. Sammy's telling Mike, you don't have to go when you get subpoenaed.
How many times? What are you talking about?
I cooperated. I never went before.
Sammy.
I never sat with the government before.
Why did you have to?
Only when I cooperated.
Only when you had. Yeah, of course. Why else would you sit down there?
You don't go in a subpoena.
Sammy.
Yeah, that's so fucking legit. That's a legitimate guy talking now. I got subpoenaed. I gotta go.
I'm not trying to legitimize anything. Sammy, you can paint this any color that you want. Here's the facts. I testified in the Norby Walters case. Go look up your damn YouTubes. I said it 20 times. Okay? And all I ever said, and I'll take this to my grave, and you can do all your bullshit research that you want. Nobody went to prison because of anything I ever said. I made sure of that. Can you say the same?
Are you
damn right. I know exactly what I'm talking
Crickets.
about. I lived it, not you. You can pretend to live it. You can pretend to know everything, but that's all it is.
I think you lost your fucking mind.
What? I think we're losing Sammy's signal. You want to call Sammy on the phone? So
Crazy.
on the audio?
Wow.
Michael, let me ask you: did from that moment of the video and your text exchange that you're saying you'd be willing to share it? Did you guys have a phone call together, or there's not been a phone call or a Zoom together? It's just been text.
Patrick, as soon as he sent me the text, I said, "Sammy, I didn't mean to offend you. I'll take it down." I looked at it again. I talked to Kurt. We had our team take it off because it was nothing. He got his feelings hurt. All he had to do was say to me, "Why did you do that?" I would have said, "Sammy, you know what? If it hurt you, I'm sorry." I would have taken.
Because Mike had a segment in there that was talking about ex-rats or whatever, informants, and then Sammy's name was in there. But Mike was good enough to say, I'll take it out. And that's what got the ball rolling. Part of this video got Sammy all pissed off.
Get it out, which I did immediately.
He took it out.
Immediately, with all this prayer, bull, and innuendo. I don't know what the hell he's talking about. It's all figment of his imagination. I took it down. It was, you know what? I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you how honest I am. My wife said, "You know what, Michael? I can understand how Sammy got offended." I said, "Okay." I didn't get it. You know what? And I'm sorry. I'm not making excuses. We just had a kid die in my house. Maybe I wasn't thinking right. I don't know. But it certainly wasn't to offend him in any way. And I don't have to soften him up. I don't know what he's talking about. Send him something. And what happened in church, Patrick, you will understand this. I don't have to pray for somebody that's
Maybe it's
dead.
what your wife told you. It's maybe what your wife told you. Michael, what you fucking just did is not right.
No.
Your wife told you.
Sammy, don't inject again.
How many other people got to tell you
Excuse me.
what you did was wrong?
Don't inject it again, Sammy. My wife told me days afterwards when I mentioned it to her. Okay, I said, Sammy got upset. And she
Whatever you said it, your wife told you it was wrong. It was not a good thing. So stop the bullshit.
You know what? Let me tell you something.
If you're not know.
Stop your baloney, Sammy. I was man enough to apologize to you and said it wasn't meant intentionally to betray you. You use your words.
I believe that.
And I immediately took it down. So you could say whatever you want. As soon as I knew that, I took it down. I said, I apologize. I didn't mean it. I don't have to soften you up. If it was a mistake, it was a mistake. But there was nothing said about you. I didn't compare you. I went into great detail about the witnesses that testified against my father. Look at the video again.
I did. And I don't even know who those guys were, and I don't care about those guys. The innuendo is that everybody should not get a fucking break because they cooperate. They should rot in prison.
Sammy,
And then
can
you
I-
said, bullshit, they fight the government. So now you're a fucking crusader who wants to put everybody in prison. And then you say, they come out and they recommit. I'm talking about your video. What do you mean?
Sammy, can I make one recommendation?
I'm not going to apologize 100 more times.
Can I make?
just said
whatever you want.
You can
All I
believe what
hear
you
now is
If I can make-
I can't even hear. Something's going on with this
Yeah, let me make one recommendation,
Patrick.
Sammy.
I don't hear it.
Sammy, if we can have you, Mario's calling your phone. If you get the phone, because it's choppy with your service. Michael's service is good. Yours is a little choppy. If you have the phone next to you, I'm going to put it here. You will hear what Michael has to say, and we will hear what you have to say.
I don't have the phone, Patrick. I do not have the phone next to me. I got it on airplane or whatever the fuck it is to shut it off. And I'm not interested in hearing what he has to say.
Okay.
And I'm not even interested in going on and making this a spectacle. I'm starting to get tired of this fucking thing.
I'm tired of it too. Patrick. This is nonsense.
Listen, if you
Nonsense.
Sammy, if you do,
How long do we want to keep this up?
Wow.
We got to hear each other.
I have one ask for you guys. I just have one ask. I have one ask. So if you can hear me, you would consider listening to me. I just got one ask for you. That's why if we can get a phone, I don't know who's out there, Sammy, with you. If you can, they can get a phone so you can hear me better. Whoever phone
I got
it is.
Richie out here. I got Taz.
Can you have Richie call Mario? Have Richie call Mario. Have Richie call Mario if you don't mind. I just got one question for you.
what?
I'm gonna ask. I got one question.
Yes.
Yeah, because we can't hear you back. No, we can't hear you back. You're sounding choppy and people can't hear you. If you're open to it, I got one question. So Richie.
All right, so Richie's calling you back.
Okay, Richie, if you can call Mario. Call Mario, Richie.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Mario's gonna bring the phone in. I just got one question for you guys. And I want to make sure this is clear when I ask you. Because for me, listen, we're not doing this to create a war. We're not trying to create a fourth war here or anything like that. And
did.
You know, the audience, they're not from the world. This is obviously not going to go in that direction. But I do have one ask. If you got Richie, okay, Richie, if you don't mind handing the phone to Sammy, that'd be great. Okay, if you got it, if you want to put it in. Let's see if we can hear better. Can we hear? Richie, can you say something?
Video's almost over.
Yeah. Could you hear me?
Okay, much better. So if you want to now mute Sammy here, so we just hear Sammy through phone, that'd be great.
5 minutes.
If you want to mute him on the Zoom, there you go. Okay, Sammy, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Let me put it up here. Audience, if you can hear, just comment below that you can hear it. So, Michael, can you hear me as well?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I got a question for you guys. So I was sitting down one time with
I
Stephen
don't hear him now.
As long as Sammy can hear, okay. So Michael, you know who Stephen A. Smith is. Sammy, you may know who. Yeah, Stephen A. Smith. He's the ESPN guy, and you know, one day I'm sitting down with him in New York, and I don't know if it was Connecticut or New York. Anyways, we're in New York, sitting down talking to him, and I said, Stephen A., a lot of these guys are your friends, like meaning in the sports world. And you come on, and all of a sudden, you go after Durant, you go after Shaq, you go after whoever. But these are your buddies, these are your friends. What do you do with that? I'll never forget what he said. He says, you know what I do? It's a great question you ask. I whisper to them and I say, hey, here's what I'm going to say to you tomorrow. I just want you to know I have to do my job and I have to do this. You may want to skip tomorrow or, communicate with this tomorrow. Do you think for the two of you guys that are the premier YouTube channels that are creating content for this world, do you think it may be a good idea for the two of you guys to communicate if at any time content's being made that the other person's name is being mentioned? You think that could solve something like this moving forward?
No.
I may be wrong. I'm just asking, speculating.
Not with Sammy.
That would help because, look, we'd like to see you guys being on better mode than going in this place. We'd rather see you guys having a better relationship. Michael, maybe I can start off with you. Do you think in the future, if you're ever going to do an episode,
They won't.
if you just say, hey, Sammy, I'm thinking about doing an episode, you're cool with this, or, something like that, or would that not make a difference?
Patrick, let me end it like this.
I don't hear him.
Okay? I'm upset.
I don't hear what he's
turned
saying.
out because I will say this, regardless of what he thinks or what he's heard, I did not do that intentionally to betray him or hurt him or make any innuendo in any way whatsoever. That's the truth. I came out of that sit down that we had actually liking and respecting Sammy, and I happen to really like and love his son, Gerard. I would never have done this to betray him or hurt him in any way. Never. Okay? And the fact that he did it, I apologize. It wasn't meant to be done. I'm very upset that we've had these words because we shouldn't have had them. And you know what? If he would have called me up and just said, you know what the hell did you do? Maybe I wasn't thinking right. We had a kid die in our house. It's been a real bad thing in our family for the past couple of weeks. But maybe I would have said, you know what, Sam, I don't know what the hell I was thinking. I'm sorry.
Right.
I apologized anyway. So the bottom line is, I don't know. I don't know where his head is at. I'm a Christian, regardless of what he believes. I am upset that I lost it here a little bit, but it's just my frame of mind right now. I apologize to you, Patrick, for getting off a little bit. I normally don't do this. You know that. I'm a pretty calm guy. But look, my door is open. My door is open. I'm not trying to make enemies. Whatever Sammy wants to do, and I mean that. We've said some bad words that shouldn't have been said just now.
Mike's apologizing. He's trying to be diplomatic about it. Yeah, Mike's going through a crisis. He used Sammy in a reference to informants, and Sammy can't get over it. But Mike's more receptive to just being on diplomatic, being on good terms, finding a solution. I don't know how Sammy's going to say. I don't think Sammy's on board with that.
Really shouldn't have been, but it is what it is, and I don't know where we go from here. But yeah, I'm open.
Sammy,
Sammy,
can you hear me?
Oh,
Sammy, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can hear that.
Okay.
I heard him, most of it.
he heard
I
him.
think what he's saying is he's saying that he's open to.
I know exactly what he's saying.
Okay.
Here we go.
I know exactly what he's saying. And I'm not a person who carries grudges. I'm explosive in my personality and things I do. I'm dedicated to what I do. I'm dedicated to friendship. I'm dedicated to things. I've been betrayed a few times in my life, and I don't like it. Betrayal just sets me on fucking fire. What he said now, listen, I feel the same way. When we got done with Mafia States of America,
Yep.
I actually felt better about him and knowing him. He knows it. I spoke to people who really don't know him, and they were badmouthing him. I told him, listen, shut them out. Leave the guy alone. And he knows that, all of that stuff. As far as his Christianity, he could have it, do whatever he wants with it. I know a lot of people people believe in things. I believe in God myself. I believe in religions have different paths to God.
Wow.
You don't have to be a Christian. You could be anything, an Indian.
Fair.
You could be anything you want to be.
Fair.
I believe in God.
Fair.
I believe in God as well.
Fair.
But I don't use him up front, and I don't use his name, and I don't do all of that stuff. When I get mad or something that he says about Christianity, it's like you're throwing these things in my face. He had apologized for that. What he does right now is an apology. I accept it. I apologize for things I just said. And I really don't want to hurt him in any way. I don't mean physically. I mean in any way.
Of course.
There's nothing I want to do to hurt him. There's no.
It's nice he's trying to be a little diplomatic now, okay? That's nice. That's beautiful, okay? Leave the mob world. Why can't people get along?
Reason for that for me. And he knows certain things, some of the things you said. If he knew that was married, if his wife was wise enough to know she's not a gangster, she's not a street guy. The wife was wise enough with it. It was 1 day, 3 days, whatever. This is going to offend his wife. Now, if I do videos, my son is around. My son, he felt good about my son. My son thinks the world. He's not here with me right now because he had a feeling that this thing would blow up, and he didn't even want to see it or hear it because he likes movies.
That's fair.
So how it's going to go in the future, I really don't know. But I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all in any way they perform towards him. I don't know about going forward. I don't know if we would do business. I have no idea. But, I don't really want to hurt him in any way, shape, or form.
And Sammy, I appreciate you saying that.
That's nice.
Having been around you guys for so many hours, and we've spent a lot of time together, both Michael and yourself, interviews, conversations. I've seen you upset. I've seen you in different levels. Here's a couple of things that's very random about the where you guys were and where you are today. Michael, the way I judge is, his kids love him. They're around him. His wife, they're together. We had dinner at, I don't know where we were, at Casa D'Angelo, wherever we were having dinner, or not even Casa D'Angelo. I think it was Shooters when you guys were.
Patrick's gonna allude now probably to that. He's been around Mike and Sammy, and they're family men. You know, outside of the mob controversy, they're family men, and he's been around Sammy and his family, and they're family guys. They're family guys. I try to allude in other videos of it's just not blood and guts and everything else. They go home, they hug their children and kiss their wife, and it's just not blood and guts.
First date 37 years ago. I don't know what the time you said to me, Michael, when you guys had dinner together. You know, being married together for 3+ decades, there's got to be value there, right? And having stayed clean for all these many years, there's respect for that. And as Sammy, for you, and I see how Gerard is, how your kids are with you, you know, there's love there with the family. So there's good things being done on both sides, and both have decided to move on.
I don't hear you again.
Yeah, it would be from my end. My only suggestion.
I'm hearing you.
So, Rich, if you can figure right away where he can hear me, I want Sammy to hear this last part.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, Michael, Sammy, if you can hear me, I'll go. If you can hear me now. Looks like service got better. Okay. You know, the only thing I would say is, this is my biggest suggestion. Look, I'm going to do better if you guys want to go to war. Like, well, that's not my outcome. I'm not doing this to make, hey, you know, come on, let's pin them against each other. This is how we're going to make more money. That's not my outcome of doing this. I run businesses. And, you know, this was a story that the world wanted to see. The world wanted to see the two of you guys sitting down having a conversation.
Well, we want them to be MFing each other. That's what everybody wants. We don't want them to be saying, hey, hello, how's the wife and kids? We don't want them. We want them to war with each other. Do we, folks?
Together. And the audience is going to win because they're going to hear both of you sitting down for 10 hours together for these episodes. My biggest suggestion is, if there's ever something being said or content being created about opposing side, I would process it with each other. Both of you guys are heavyweights. Both of you guys are names. Both of you guys are known in the marketplace. You're now public. You know, this is a pretty private life you're accustomed to being. You're public now. People follow your story. Sammy, you run a very successful podcast. Michael, you run a very successful, you know, YouTube channel that you have with your shows and then the restaurants and all the other things that you guys do. My recommendation would be to have that communication together. Anyways, Sammy, Michael, thank you guys for coming on and agreeing to do this. I do know both of you guys at one point were a little bit uncomfortable. You were not open for wanting to do this. I'm glad we were able to make this work today, day before Thanksgiving. Appreciate you guys for being on. I'm going to make a couple announcements to the audience right now while they're listening. The fact that Mafia States of America is going to be coming out December 3rd will be the first day you can.
All right. He's just promoting that video, Mafia States. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if that created more questions about the controversy they were talking about, or if that provided you folks with more answers. Was it just good entertainment to watch them MF each other and go at it? Yes, it makes good entertainment. At the end of the day, that got almost 1 million views on YouTube. So, and it amplifies and brings their channels up with recognition. So everybody wins, even though they're MFing each other and going crazy at each other. All Patrick David from Valuetainment, he benefits from it. He does a lot of high-profile interviews anyways, but he's got the two biggest crime names, mafia names, and he gets them to go at it. So everybody benefits from that interview. And I don't know. Sorry about that. I don't know if it answered questions or clarified some things for folks who don't really know the backstory about what they're arguing about. More or less, neither one wants to be a rat, and they're both calling each other a rat, and who did what, and who's a bigger rat or not a bigger rat. And that's all it comes down to, you know. So thank you guys for coming in, and the channel, the ticker's working again, and I appreciate your support, Mr. Spataro, Victor, Super Mario, and Leon. I appreciate your guys' support, and God bless y'all and have a great day.